Hi there, good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from the Joy 99.7 FM studios, Kokomlemle in Accra, at digital address GA0993341. Also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by Telisol 4G, Just a Touch, and coming up, Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu comes under pressure to offer explanations to Ghanaians following reports two of his employees were investigated for taking advantage of their office to steal fuel.
These are very key members of his staff. What has he said about it? What has he done about it?
We'll hear from some anti-corruption campaigners who are questioning the special prosecutor's silence, and Free Media Vanguard gives National Communication Authority a one-week ultimatum to shut down radio stations, threatening to embark on series of demonstrations if it does not act.
Rats in the society. Let us not be cowed in. And we are giving them a week. If they don't, we will continue to mount the pressure until they do the right thing.
And mixed views greet Black Stars captain Asamoah's decision to quit the national team over captaincy.
Asamoah has been helpful to the national team. This is his last play, so we should have given him the chance, and I believe in him.
We'll get more reactions from some Ghanaians to his shocking announcement. We'll also hear from some former Black Stars players and football pundits. I'm Bernice Abubeidulansa. Thanks for your company. The details now. Explain the fuel theft to Ghanaians. This is the call from Star Ghana to Martin Amidu and the Office of the Special Prosecutor, following reports that two of employees there were investigated for taking advantage of their office to steal fuel. Speaking to Kojo Yankson on the AM show, head of programs at Star Ghana Foundation, Mrs. Teko Saba said the Special Prosecutor should explain to the people of Ghana what led to this alleged stealing and what has been done about it since. She said Mr. Amidu must make his case or risk his office not being taken seriously.
We encourage the Special Prosecutor himself and other members of the civil service to take action as soon as possible to ensure that Ghanaians continue to have the trust for the integrity of the office itself to be able to do its prosecutions. Otherwise, the risk we will face is that nobody will take the office seriously anymore. But I think we also have to give an opportunity to the Special Prosecutor to make his case, for us to hear him, head of his secretariat and his account. These are very key members of his staff. What has he said about it? What has he done about it? Understanding that civil servants themselves have their own disciplinary processes. And as per the Constitution, you can't just sack a civil servant. There has to go through a process. Has that process started? Why is the civil service silent about the story?
Those head of programs at Star Ghana Foundation, Teko Saba, a member of the African Union Advisory Board on Corruption, Daniel Batidam, supported her call, adding that the conduct of the employees in question is the important issue and not the amount of fuel allegedly stolen.
The amount involved are not important. What is important is the conduct of officials who are supposed to belong to an anti-corruption institution, of whom we expect the highest levels of integrity, transparency, and accountability, and all the other things you can talk about. Any official working in the office of the Special Prosecutor and any other anti-corruption agency for that matter is one that must be above reproach. At the time that Ghanaians are asking what is going on at the office, the special office that was set up to perform the magic that all the other anti-corruption agencies like SRAJ, IUCO, and others have not been able to perform over the years. This is bad news at a bad time.
Mr. Battedam also condemned the Office of the Special Prosecutor's current recruitment policy of taking staff on secondment from other state institutions. According to him, special people are needed to work at the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
Nothing is going to work. Nothing is going to work if we are going to populate the Office of Special Prosecutor with the same public servants or civil servants on secondment from the police service, from Yoko or any other institution. In any case, what difference does it make to second people from institutions that we claim are not working for whatever reason to come and support somebody in an office that is supposed to be special? In fact, we need special people to work in the Office of the Special Prosecutor. We don't need ordinary people. In fact, I have been asking myself.
You have a member of the African Union Advisory Board on Corruption, Daniel Battedam, but suggesting the way forward. Teko Saba, who is head of programs at the Star Ghana Foundation, called for the establishment of the long-awaited code of conduct for public officers to help change the culture among public and civil servants.
I think the first thing that we need to address is the culture within the public service. We have very good public service officers, and I've worked across the country with them. But you know that there's a code of conduct for public officers, and it started as just an administrative document and became a bill, and it's been in Parliament since the last Parliament. It hasn't been passed. So what holds a public officer to strict code of conduct, which includes things like conflict of interest? Why should we do this or not do this, and what are the sanctions for doing that?
Head of programs at Star Ghana Foundation, Teko Saba there. Let's head to the Jubilee House now, because President Koforidua has expressed optimism the implementation of the Right to Information law will ensure transparency in government. The bill was passed by Parliament in March this year after several years of assurances by previous and even this current government. Now, a while ago, the President assented to the bill, and he's hopeful it will also help in the fight against corruption.
Commitment to good governance in passing this is to provide for the implementation of the constitutional right to information held by affairs, properly apply, enhance the quality of governance in our country, and provide a critical tool in the fight against corruption in the next financial year, i.e. January 2020, because there are financial consequences in the implementation of the law. In order to give the public trade, I'm very happy that this law has finally been passed. And I did make the commitment that when it was brought to me, I would give my assent to it right away. It was in fact brought in people. For you to know that this long, winding parliamentary process has finally, I thank you for your attention.
President Koforidua there. Let's head to the Jubilee House. My colleague Elton Brobe was at that event. Elton, tell us more of what the President has been saying at what we may call this historic event.
Well, for him, the financial implications for the implementation of the Right to Information law, which has now been assented to, is quite enormous, and that's the more reason why implementation will start in 2020 January. We are looking at over $700 million expected to go into the implementation for the next 5 years. And he was quite clear that his commitment to seeing to the implementation of this is the more reason why he decided to hold this live event, to sign it into law and get the finance ministry to release the necessary funding to back it. So in the 2020 budget, which will come up in November, he is optimistic that a substantial amount will be devoted towards the full implementation of the RTI law, which is now fully operational, but starting in January 2020.
Elton, in discussions about the RTI, many have cautioned that it should not be taken advantage of. Did the President mention anything like that, speak about that at all?
Well, it didn't come out at all. I mean, apart from the fact that he is of the view that it will help deepen transparency in governance and indeed in the public space, it was quite clear that for now people can have access to information which was difficult to access. And so the law, when it's fully rolled out in January 2020, the situation where public officers hide behind, conventions and laws to deny the public information that will help in entrenching transparency in governance will be a thing of the past. And so by 2020, the money we made available, $700 million for the next 5 years. That's what the directive to the finance ministry is. And that will be captured in the 2020 budget.
We understand the president is touring some flood-prone areas. Where is he heading exactly?
We just got to Circle, where a major dredging activity is taking place right inside the Odo River. Now, there's so many people here, party folks who come here to welcome the president. He's coming here to inspect progress of work and then also ensure that the country, especially this particular place here in the capital, is made ready to contain the volume of water we are expecting this year with the onset of the rain. President Akufo-Addo himself is just to come here, but party people are just running down, awaiting his arrival. My information is that he will interact with contractors working on this project. He will go in to inspect, and then he will address the nation as far as government resolve to deal with the flooding issue is right here at Circle.
Finally, Elton, do we know what necessitated this tour?
My information is that he has not really been happy with the flooding situation, especially here in the capital city. Yesterday we had a downpour, and in the days before we've had downpours, which resulted in the deaths of, in one occasion 4, in some occasion 5, and he called a meeting to address this particular issue. Already there's this dredging that is ongoing because Circle has become a notorious place for flooding. That's the more reason why he's come here. According to with information I've taken from the Interministerial Committee that has been set up to deal with this particular matter, funds allocated for the dredging of this place is already at hand. And now what is left is for the contractor to speed up work to ensure that the volume of water expected will be contained in the event of any rain that may happen here at Circle. So the inspection will take place. It will speak to the contractors, and then to address the nation on steps government is taking to deal with the flooding situation, not only in Circle, but across the country.
Thank you very much, Elton Broby. They're away from the presidency. Sounds of demonstrators earlier today protesting the shutdown of Radio Gold and Radio XYZ by the National Communications Authority, NCA. The protest march was organized by a group calling itself the Free Media Vanguard. The group that marched from LWAC to the NCA office in what they call the March for Free Expression is accusing government of using the NCA to suppress the media. Former Deputy Minister of Education Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa is among some of the notable persons from the minority side in Parliament who joined the demonstration.
We agree with GIBA, with the GJA, and with the Media Foundation for West Africa that the NCA must publish. We have made this demand more than 3 weeks now, that there ought to be a publication of what the status is of the earlier 131 radio stations put out. Why is the NCA not responding to the GIBA, not responding to the GJA, not responding to the Media Foundation for West Africa, and not responding to the minority? What is happening? What is happening? Why is there no transparency? Why is the NCA not able to account?
Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa is a minority MP in Parliament. My colleague Nancy Emefadra-Dosi was with the protesters, and they've given the NCA a 1-week ultimatum to open all radio stations it has shut down. Nancy, you were with the demonstrators a while ago. Help us understand those who participated in this protest.
All right, so there was the members of Parliament, the minority side. There were civil society groups. There were also staff of XYZ and Radio Gold. There were also the ardent listeners of these particular radio stations, and so they participated in the march from LWAC to the NCA.
The NCA told us that these radio stations were not complying with some directives. Some of them had expired licenses, and that was the reason they were shut down. But what did these people tell you from their side?
So I spoke to the convener of the group, Prince Minka, who tells me that yes, they've had several engagements with the NCA. It was a back and forth, and I asked him, so After your engagement and you were not given the licenses back, what did you do? Who did you report to? They said they reported back to the same NCA, and so for them, they had done their part of the job, but then NCA failed to do theirs.
Today, we are looking in the eyes of institutions that are mandated to ensure that we enjoy the media freedom in this country. And we are looking them in the eyeball and we are telling them that they should not allow themselves to be used, they should not allow themselves to be manipulated by the political authority. You know that several times have management of Radio XYZ and Radio Gold made efforts in ensuring that they sit with you and others and sit with you and go through the due process. But I'm worried. And all of us are worried, and all journalists in Ghana are worried, and all these Ghanaians you see here, including the policemen, they are worried that you did not give them the opportunity for them to go through the process. We are worried that in 2018, as far as the last quarter is concerned, Radio XYZ and Radio Gold and some others were part of the list of radio stations that were in good standing. We are worried about the suppression of media freedom in this country. We are worried about the Ahmed Swale stories. We are worried about the Manasseh Azure story. We are worried about the Edward Adeti story. We are worried about the Wisdom Hedejome story. Look, I could go on and on and on and on and on, and we are not going to leave here. We are worried about this trend. We are asking you, we the Free Media Vanguard, we are humbly petitioning your outfit for the purpose of the giving practical effect to the constitutionally guaranteed rights.
So that's Prince Minka, his convener of the Free Media Vanguard. They're addressing the NCA, and they actually presented a petition to the authority. Nancy, what was the NCA's response?
So, Bernice, after all the shouts and screams at the premises of the NCA, the response was very brief. Take a listen.
I understand this. We receive this in the name of the authority, and we will do what is right. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So that was the Deputy Director of the NCA, Olivia Quarte, receiving the petition from the Free Media Vanguard, who are protesting the shutdown of some radio stations in the country. Now, a 9-year-old girl has gone missing at Tafo in Kumasi following last night's heavy downpour in the Ashanti regional capital. The victim, Kudisia Awudu, left the house on the blind side of her parents after helping them with household chores. Now, a few meters from the house where she played in the rain with a friend, she was reportedly pushed into a drain by the rushing water. Efforts to rescue the 9-year-old girl during the time yielded no results. My colleague Nanaya Ojima has been following up on this and joins us on the line. Nana, what more can you report on this?
All right, so I can tell you that NADMO officials in the Tafo municipality since 7 p.m. last night have been going through the whole community trying to find the 9-year-old. Friends of the 9-year-old had reported the incident to some adults to help rescue their friend. But efforts to rescue her as of last night by the community and the NADMO have yielded no positive results. Parents of the girl are very worried and are hopeful of finding her alive.
So, Nanaya, tell us what authorities are saying. Has NADMO been involved, the police?
Obviously, NADMO is on the ground. They are trying to find the girl, but as of now, they've not been able to find her. I'm still trying to get an interview with the municipal chief executive, who is head of security here, to find out what they will be doing if after the search party is over.
Nanaya Ojima there reporting from the Ashanti region capital, Kumasi. You're listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM with me, Bernice Abu-Beidu-Lansa. Still to come, we'll be telling you how some people have been reacting to Black Stars captain Asamoah Gyan's decision to quit the national team over captaincy.
Asamoah Gyan has been helpful to the national team. This is his last play, so we should have given him the chance, and I believe in him.
The new Ghana card is more than just a way to identify yourself. It opens you up to a world of benefits.
The sooner you register for your Ghana card, the closer you are to accessing a new world of secure transactions and services. The requirements to register are as follows:
a genuine birth certificate or a valid Ghanaian passport and personal information such as the name of your parents or legal guardians, residential address, and your digital address code.
If you don't have a birth certificate or a valid Ghanaian passport, don't worry. One relative or two members of the community who have been registered and have received their Ghana card can vouch for you under oath. You will, however, need your digital address code. You will not be allowed to register without it.
Any person who provides false information during this process is liable to prosecution, leading to the payment of a fine and/or serving a jail term.
Watch out for registration details to the media and the national identification team in your community. Make sure you register for your Ghana card.
Ghana card, connectivity, access, and progress.
Thank you for staying here on the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM. It's a real pleasure. I'm Bernice Abubedu-Lansa. Now, a meeting of Chokosis is underway in Tamale to discuss the recent conflict between Chokosis and Konkombas. Now, several communities, including Tripoli and Saboba, have been burnt in the 4-day clash. In the latest incident, the Tripoli District Coordinating Director was attacked. Amidu Sualin is one of the Chokosi leaders. He wants security agencies to bring the situation under control.
The call, or our call now as Anofos, is that the security on ground is not enough, because we're told with time they had withdrawn some of them. So we want to use this platform to talk to the President, the Interior Minister, National Security, to please get some of the security personnel down there, because it's a situation that they have engulfed all around. The numbers that are there, I'm talking about the security, cannot just go around. That is why we will need more of them on grounds. I think for me it is not, it should be a concern. It should be a concern, because earlier I had told you, when you are bitten by a snake and you see the earth wind, you should be panicking. In the first place, it is on record that security in Saboba must have to be received a call from Chiriponi commander before they should be able to come and assist. In this particular case, they have not been called. So it's a concern. They have not been called. Is it therefore a strategy that they are coming to once again prevent our people, for the people to advance? It's a serious concern for us.
You have Amidu Sualin. He's he's a Chokosi leader. My colleague Martina Bugri is at a meeting they are having to discuss the recent conflict between Chokosis and Kokombas, and she joins us with more. Martina, what else has been said at this meeting?
At the meeting, they are giving more figures and more communities that have been banned, contrary to the 5 communities that the police have reported. They are putting the number about 17 communities have been banned, and they are saying that they need more security, because currently it looks like the whole town has been engulfed with military combatants, and they fear that they would advance into Chiriponi Township itself. Considering what happened yesterday, it has heightened more fears in the area.
Martina, and so what else are they demanding apart from this increase in security?
That they want the conflict resolved. They think that it is about time this thing is brought under total control. I also spoke to the president of the Konkomba Youth Association, that's Koya Charles Ndong, and he says that he's extending an olive branch to his counterparts, the Chokosis, that they need to sit and dialogue as one people, because they have been living together as one.
Martina Bugri there, bringing us the latest from the northeast region. Now, residents of Manya Pongino in the Lower Manya Krobo municipality yesterday clashed with police when their electricity or some homes were disconnected by the Power Distribution Services PDS. The town folks blocked roads in protest of the exercise and prevented officials of PDS from entering homes. The police reportedly opened tear gas to disperse the crowd. The people of Manya Krobo have over the past times fought the Electricity Company of Ghana over payment of electricity bills. They argue their forefathers signed an MOU with Ghana's first president, Kwame Nkrumah, not to pay electricity bills because their fathers gave the land for the construction of the Akosombo Dam.
We did not attack them. They did. We say we will not pay. They can take their power and will take our land.
The officials came to disconnect our electricity supply. We resisted. Then they called the police, who started brutalizing us. We have said we will not pay because the Kusumbu Dam is on our land.
You heard the residents of Manya Bouno in the lower Manya Krobo municipality. While the police have told Joy News they've arrested 3 residents and have commenced investigations into the incident. Meanwhile, the calm has been restored in the community. Now, there have been mixed reactions to the decision by Ghana's all-time highest goal scorer to quit the national team. Asamoah Gyan announced his retirement from the senior national team in a statement last night as he enumerated how he's helped the team on several occasions. His decision to quit the Black Stars comes as coach Kwesi Appiah prepares to name his squad for this year's AFCON and is centered mainly on the captaincy of the team. Now here are extracts of the letter.
He says, I cannot pretend to be happy. I would rather hurt myself emotionally and psychologically over the years. I have served with an open heart and have given my all to the best of my ability in my quest to serve in my great nation Ghana. I've represented the proud colors of our country in 10 major tournaments from the Olympics, World Cups, and in African Nations Cups with different coaches. In all, I would say the last years have been the proudest moments in my career as a captain under the managerial leadership of Coach Kwesi Appiah. I stood solidly behind my coach during the difficult times in Brazil and in some cases supported the endeavors of the team financially when the need arose to make sure his tenure and my captaincy would not suffer challenges and to ride with the assertion a Ghanaian coach can't do it. He ends by saying, upon consultation with my family and team and as an active footballer and captain of the national team, if the decision of the coach is to give captaincy of the tournament to another player while I am named in the team for the tournament, I wish to recuse myself from the tournament. I also wish to retire from the national team permanently.
Extracts of that letter by Asamoah Gyan. Well, he's certainly not happy with Coach Kwesi Appiah's decision and mode of communication to relinquish the captaincy from him. Here's his spokesperson, Kweku Obeng Maestro.
He had a call from the head coach of the national team trying to impress upon him to come public that he's no more interested in wearing the armband for the national team as we prepare for AFCON, and that he should hand over to his deputy, the Dayu. And unwillingly, I mean, you can't hear it anywhere where you are moving for a tournament, your substantive captain is not injured, he's part of the team, and you are forcing him to retire the captain's armband to the deputy. And he thinks that it is a big betrayal to him as a skipper. That is why he did a couple of consultations and decided to call it quit to the national team.
That was Asamoah Gyan's spokesperson, Kweku Obeng Maestro. Joy Sports editor Nathaniel Arthur joins me in the studio with more. So what more do we know aside from this statement from Gyan?
The full decision that Andre Dayu will be captain of the Black Stars at the next Africa Cup of Nations. Also, there is an indication that there's an invitation by His Excellency the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, that Kwesi Appiah has a meeting with him. You know that the President is very much interested in football, and therefore, every other time he wants to make a contribution or two or know exactly what's happening, with the national team. Also, you also know that many government officials have openly expressed the desire of government to do anything possible, and I mean anything possible, to make Ghana win.
So, Nathaniel, if Asamoah Gyan does not rescind his decision despite that meeting by the President, what are the implications?
Well, factionalism returns to the Black Stars team in its full scale. We're going in there without a united front, especially in the camp. And this is something we've seen rear its head over the years. It has had an effect on our performance on the pitch. And, so it's bad timing. It's not exactly the best way to go about it. And so it surely is going to have an effect on us on the pitch. There's no doubt about it.
Joy Sports editor Nathaniel Arthur there. You can join him at 2 on TV for more analysis. But current coach of the Asante Kotoko, C.K. Akuno, who once captained the Black Stars, believes Asamoah Gyan has not been treated fairly.
The guy, Gyan, has been betrayed, disappointed, and so forth. But I think this could have been done, or we could have saved the situation. One, how the whole thing was communicated to him, and also the people around him, if they had, helped him in talking to him to calm him down.
Well, views of ordinary Ghanaians on the streets of Accra to Asamoah Gyan's decision to quit the Black Stars have been mixed. Listen.
I don't think it's okay. I don't think it's all right. Asamoah has been helpful to the national team. This is his last play, so we should have given him the chance, and I believe in him. Yeah. I think that has been decided on. Are you? So we just let it go.
I don't think it's right.
You heard there's some views of Ghanaians. It's now time to know what's trending. Mapito CBD is here with the latest.
Well, people are talking about Asamoah on Twitter, and at Gary Alsma says Asamoah has been easily Ghana's most central player since 2006. He lives in controversy, but what a story he had. And at Kwame Jan says Asamoah is a legend, though he blocked me on Twitter. And Sam Atta says Ghanaians and football, no point in insulting him. He's played his part and paid his dues.
Thank you very much. And that's what's trending. And that's how we end this edition of the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM. Top story: Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu comes under pressure to offer explanations to Ghanaians following reports 2 of his employees were investigated for taking advantage of their office to steal fuel. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. And then is Abubeidu Lansa. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.